5:47 a.m. You're standing on the steps of the Miami-Dade County Courthouse in Florida. It's already 90 degrees. In your hand, a printed foreclosure list, 23 properties. In your bank account, $47,000. The auction starts at 6. You're the youngest person here. Nobody gives you a second look. This is where it all begins. Level 1. The Vulture. Every first Tuesday of the month, Miami-Dade holds a foreclosure auction on the courthouse steps. Public record, anyone can show up. The process never changes. Notice post 30 days out, you research title, you bid, you win, you walk away. Your real work happens before the gavel drops. You run title chains on LexisNexis, confirming there are no outstanding tax liens or mechanics liens buried on your target properties. A house sitting under 2 layers of liens, even one you buy at 60 cents on the dollar, can still wipe you out. Your first month, 23 bids, 2 wins, a 3-bedroom in Hialeah, foreclosure price $88,000, flipped 6 weeks later for $141,000. A single family in Opa-locka, you miscalculated the roof replacement cost. Net profit, $3,200. The fundamental logic of this system, the gap between speed and information, is your margin. The previous owner lost the house. The bank recovered its debt. The court closed the file. The tragedy already happened. You're just processing the wreckage. You're not the one who caused this. You tell yourself that. Level 2. The Liquidator. 6 months in, a bankruptcy trustee calls you. He's sitting on the inventory of a busted retailer, 3 warehouses in Tampa, book value around $2.1 million. He needs it liquidated in 60 days. You make your offer, $620,000, all cash, 7-day close. He takes it. Under Chapter 7, a trustee's legal obligation is to maximize creditor recovery. He has no time, no resources, and no incentive to wait for a better number. You have cash and you have speed. That alone is the product. You start learning the UCC-1 filing system from the ground up. How to search financing statements, how to verify lien priority through the Florida Division of Corporations. You hire your first employee, a former retail consultant who knows commercial liquidation cold. $6,500 a month. The rule at this level? You are the trustee's solution, not his adversary. Make his job easier, and he'll call you again. Year 2. He sends you 7 referrals. Average net profit per deal, $110,000. For the first time, you build something beyond your own name. An LLC, incorporated in Delaware, operating in Florida. Your assets are no longer directly attached to you. This isn't humility, it's survival instinct. Level 3. The Debt Hunter. The non-performing loan market has its own language. A single portfolio might contain 50 to 500 residential mortgages, every one of them 90-plus days delinquent, bundled and sold by the bank at 20 to 40 cents on the dollar. Your first NPL auction is through an institutional brokerage platform. The target? 87 loans, total face value $3.4 million, average LTV of 74%. You bid $1.07 million. Someone else bids $1.12 million. You lose. You spend 3 months mapping every branch of the loss mitigation process: loan modifications, repayment plans, deeds in lieu, straight foreclosure. You get certified as a loan servicer. Second auction. You win. 56 NPLs out of Georgia. Face value $1.98 million. Purchase price $690,000. 14 loan modifications, 31 foreclosure liquidations, 11 deeds in lieu. 18 months later, you've recovered approximately $940,000. Here's what separates this level from the last one. You're no longer dealing with physical assets. You're dealing with debt relationships. Your counterparty isn't the market, It's every individual borrower and every attorney, every procedural delay, every emotional breakdown standing behind them. You start hiring lawyers. They're not your friends. They're part of the mechanism. So are you.
Level 4. The Restructurer. Chapter 11 operates on different logic than Chapter 7. The company doesn't get buried, it tries to be reborn. And now, you're one of the people deciding whether it gets that chance. Your team enters as a creditor in a mid-sized Texas manufacturer. 1,600 employees. Total debt, $78 million. You acquire $41 million of its senior secured debt at 61 cents on the dollar. In Delaware bankruptcy court, you file for DIP lender status, debtor in possession financing. For the duration of the restructuring, your claim supersedes every other creditor in the room. Severance packages, unpaid invoices, the IRS, everyone gets in line behind you. You bring in a restructuring advisory firm. They service a dozen distressed companies simultaneously. Their core function is getting the creditors' committee to say yes. Your reorganization plan will cost roughly 400 of those 1,600 workers their jobs. The 363 sale closes in 170 days. Through a debt-to-equity conversion, you become the controlling shareholder without injecting a single dollar of new cash. You traded debt you already owned for equity in the company. The company survives. 400 people walk out. You get paid. All three of those things are simultaneously true. You stopped trying to reconcile them a long time ago.
Level 5. The Shadow Capitalist. At this level, you're no longer a buyer in the market. You are part of the market itself. After the 2008 financial crisis, the FDIC took over the assets of hundreds of failed banks, over $80 billion in total. To move it, they launched the Loss Share Agreement program. Private buyers purchase asset pools. The FDIC absorbs a portion of future losses. In practice, this was the federal government subsidizing risk for the distressed asset industry. Your fund manages $800 million in AUM. Your LPs include 2 pension funds, 1 sovereign wealth fund, and 3 family offices. Over the past 6 years, your average net IRR is 23.4%. You have a full-time lobbyist in Washington, D.C. Annual comp, $340,000. His job is to make sure the regulatory rules governing distressed asset disposition don't change without warning. At this level, power isn't measured in cash. It's measured in information asymmetry and relationship infrastructure. You know which regional banks have deteriorating loan quality 3 quarters before they admit it publicly, because your team reviews their loan files every quarter. Before their own boards convene, you've already run the valuation models. You no longer negotiate, you set the terms. The other side decides whether to accept or walk. The last time you personally attended an auction was 7 years ago. Level 6. The Architect. Nobody knows your name publicly. Your management company is domiciled in the Cayman Islands. The fund's legal architecture spans 7 jurisdictions. You have a home in San Francisco, an apartment in New York, and a house in Nashville you've never once slept in. It came along in a deal, and you never bothered to unload it. Your personal net worth exceeds $1.2 billion, but no public document links it back to you directly. At this level, you don't deal in individual assets. You deal in the structure of crises themselves. In 2021, your team begins building a position, not in assets, but in credit default swaps, betting on systemic default across U.S. commercial real estate loan portfolios. San Francisco downtown office vacancy hits 34.5% by 2023. Multiple regional banks are sitting on construction loans they can't roll over. When the defaults finally arrive, you profit on both ends of the market simultaneously. CDS gains, then using those gains to acquire the underlying assets at 50-cent discounts. You didn't create the crisis, but you saw it coming before anyone else, and you were more prepared than anyone else. The cost shows up somewhere else entirely. No one can be honest with you, because everyone who gets close to you needs something from you. Your 3 marriages ended the same way. One day, the other person realized they had never actually been let inside your life. They were just another unresolved line item. Your 2 children, one in London, one in Singapore, know your name but couldn't pick your face out of a crowd. At the top of this system, there are no rules to follow, because you're the source of the rules. This is what you wanted when you were young. What's hard to explain is that, after you got it, the person who wanted it seems to have gone somewhere you can't find. Somewhere, a 29-year-old just printed a foreclosure list. Miami-Dade County, first Tuesday of the month, 5:47 a.m. The courthouse steps are still empty. He thinks he's just buying houses. The cycle continues.